All right, hi everyone. So let's just go through some of the capabilities that we need from a service management tool so that we can actually better communicate with the business. We need to really, we as IT, need to really work on our business value add and breaking down those silos or barriers between IT and the business. We need to work in conjunction and coordination with the business and not be seen as an afterthought. And we really need to be able to break that down by becoming more adaptive to the way business operates. I mean, DevOps is helping in that area. It's making us more adaptive, and we can change fairly quickly. But we also need to be able to communicate, our metrics and everything at the same time through that, so that not only do they see um, deployments faster, but we also need to be able to um, you know, convey the costs associated with it and everything else. And so it can really provide our true business value add back to the organization. So let's just go through this real quickly. I'm going to say that we're going to look at change management. We're going to grab our workflow and approvals. So what we're going to do is actually look at change and see which changes were successful, what changes, percentage of changes that were successful, our approvals that were successful, which ones got rejected. That way we can actually drill down and take a look at our rejections, why those deployments didn't happen, what was the cost associated with those deployments, and so on. So we can actually really start, working with the business and taking a look at these things, and maybe those requirements up front weren't set properly, or maybe the requirements were just such that the deployment didn't work because it took too long to deploy, and the business model had changed by that point. So just lots of reasons why that might occur, but we need to be able to really work with the business and figure those things out and try and circumvent it or mitigate the costs and those types of issues. So I'm going to go to approvals accepted and then look at my rejected approvals as well. Change my predicate here so it's or, and I'm going to look at the submissions. So I really only care about the submissions that were rejected, the things that were rejected at the CAB, and sign-off rejections. Okay, so if we run that, I need to go select my output columns, and down here I'm going to say my task name so I know which is rejected, which is accepted, and so on. That's a structure with an incident monitor. So now I just say run report. There we go, 28 requests. I take my task name up here, drag that and graph it by pi. And there we go. We have our submission approved, submission rejected, our CAB approved. So we had nothing that was rejected at CAB, nothing that was rejected at sign off, just over here at submission, which is what we would want in an organization. That means that they haven't gotten too far down the chain before they're getting rejected. Okay, so at this point, I can then publish this as a metric. So I will just show you that. You have to save the report first. I've already saved this report, so loads up the exact same way. I run it. So it remembers all of that. I just have to click on graph, and then I can actually say publish this metric. Give it a name, add it to a group, so you can actually break down into kind of functional groups of it within your metrics catalog. So that's another subtle thing here, is that you need a metrics catalog so you can actually build these things up and reuse them and publish them based on a who the user is that needs to view it. Okay, the period to display and so on, and then basically here's the groups that would have access to it. Okay, so and then now I just go over here to my portal. Go to my metrics dashboard, and we'll see the change one that I created off of that, the change metric that I created off of that initial report. So you can see here it is right here. Okay, so great way you can actually take that. You should be able to publish all of this information so that the business can actually log in and see this stuff real time. So you can start building up like a dashboard specifically for the business and what they're looking for. You might have, show me all the failures that have occurred through a DevOps deployment. Okay, great. What are the costs or the trending costs associated with our change management processes? Or what are the costs associated with our service delivery of new laptop deployments? that kind of thing, or what's the cost to onboard a new employee. That, you should be able to extract all of that information out, and take a look at, and as well, take a look at the process and say, hey, maybe there's a way, through continual improvement, we can actually reduce those costs going forward. Um, so that's a little intro into breaking down those silos. Start talking the business talk, and start walking the business walk, and IT will break down those silos.